about the life cycle of a log. Remember our book, A Log's Life? So today let's review our cycle diagram that we made. We finished it yesterday before we read our story again, okay? So we learned about the tree, and then the branch falls off. The branch turns into a big log. The log breaks down and turns into a big clump of dirt. An acorn falls in the dirt, and then it turns into a tree again. And then it happens all over again, right? A big storm comes and a branch falls off. The branch turns into a log. The log turns into dirt. The dirt has an acorn planted in it or put in it, falls down into it, and it turns into a tree. Today we're going to reread our book about a log's life, and later I'm going to ask you to draw about what happens. I want you to pay really close attention to the sequence of events or the order that the things are happening in. A Log's Life, written by Wendy Pfeffer, illustrated by Robin Brickman. Deep in a forest, a great oak tree stands. A family of squirrels lives in a hole in its trunk. A porcupine chews on its branches. A colony of carpenter ants nest under the outer bank. A woodpecker pecks at the rough bark, searching for insects. He spears one, devours it, and hunts for more. Wood-boring beetles burrow under the bark, chewing wood and leaving tunnels. Water and air seep into the tunnels. Toadstools and other fungi, such as mildew, molds, and mushrooms, sprout in these damp places. Slugs and snails crawl up the tree trunk, into the tunnels, and eat the fungi. One stormy day, a strong wind whips through the forest. The old oak bends with every gust. Rain pelts its branches, wind tosses its leaves through the air, lightning flashes and sizzles down its trunk. A thunderous crack startles the porcupine sleeping nearby. The tall oak begins to topple. Squirrels feel the trembling and scramble out of their hole. One strong gust of blustery wind tears the great oak's roots from the ground. The tree crashes down, shaking the forest floor. Branches break, limbs splinter, leaves scatter. Now it's a giant log. Soon the storm stops and the sun comes out. An umbrella of leaves and tangled branches block the sunshine from the forest floor. The porcupine comes out of its den. The squirrels scamper to see the old hole that was once their home. Under the log, ants rush about, carrying white bundles of babies. A spider crawls through cracks and crevices, searching for a dry spot to place her egg sac. Millipedes settle between the log and the wet ground. For now, they're safe from a spider. Termites soon discover the fallen log and move in. They not only eat the rotting wood, they lay their eggs there too. How do animals and plants live inside and under a tree branch when it becomes a log? Well, think about it. The insects and everything are living inside of it. They're crawling all around it. The ants, the spiders, millipedes, termites, right? The porcupine climbed inside of the branch after it fell down while it's still sturdy. For 3 or 4 years, through hot, cold, wet, and dry seasons, ants, beetles, fungi, slugs, snails, spiders, millipedes, and termites live in the log. One winter, the porcupine's hollow log collapses. He moves into the oak log, too. In the spring, click beetles snap and click their bodies and flip high in the air before settling in the log. Salamanders, frightened by the noise and sudden movements, dart under the log for safety and stay. In the summer, pillbugs and slugs crawl inside the cool, moist log to keep from drying out. Pillbugs eat dead leaves. Salamanders eat the pillbugs. Slugs slip out at night and eat almost anything. The old log provides both food and shelter for the millipedes. They eat decaying plants and trees, but spiders eat the millipedes. Why do different animals or new animals move into the log during the different seasons? Well, some animals need the protection of the log during the winter. Some need it during the spring, or they need the food or the plants or anything that's on the log during the springtime. So just depending on the season depends on which animals need the log for protection or for a home or for food at that time. Several more years of hot, cold, wet, and dry seasons pass. Time, weather, and the chewing, pecking, boring, and tunneling of many animals and insects make the inside of the log spongy. The outer bark becomes soft and damp, and gradually it falls to the ground. Wood-boring insects have no wood to bore. They find another log. The woodpecker hunts for other trees to peck. Spiders spin their webs in drier spots, and the porcupine moves to a more solid log. Slowly, a lush green blanket of moss carpets the rotting log. Its thick roots break down the wood. Over the next few years, the log crumbles. What is left looks like dirt. It feels like dirt. It smells like dirt. It is dirt. Earthworms move in. They turn the soil over just as a shovel does. They burrow down and break up the soil just as a rake does. In about 10 years, the rotting log has become a mound of rich, black earth. How do the plants and the animals help turn our log into dirt? Well, the moss is covering it, right? So that's keeping it really moist and wet and helping it break down and crumble. And we also learned about how earthworms move through the crumbling up log and actually kind of help crush it and break it down and turn it into dirt. One autumn day, an acorn falls from a nearby oak tree. A squirrel buries it in the rich soil. The seedling oak sprouts and grows and grows until one day, deep in the forest, another great oak tree stands. Squirrels move in, so do carpenter ants, beetles, and woodpeckers. The ants build nests, the beetles burrow, the woodpeckers peck. For years, life goes on in the oak tree. Then one night, the wind whistles through the trees. The old oak bends and shakes and crashes to the forest floor and becomes another giant log. How does a new tree grow in the dirt? And how does it become a log again? Well, the acorn is a seed, right? And so when the acorn fell in the dirt, it started growing like a seed would with water and sunshine, all the things a plant needs to grow. And once it's big enough, what happened? Another storm came and knocked one of its branches down to turn into another log. Alright guys, we know that good sentences have to have a subject, right, that tells what they're mostly about, but they also need a predicate that describes the subject or tells what the subject does. We also know that sometimes we can have two subjects and we have to link them together. So I'm going to read some of these sentence parts that we have over here, and I want you to help me decide if they are a subject, we'll put them in the green box, or if they're a predicate, we'll put them in the red box, okay? So to help me at home, if you hear something and you think it's a subject, I want you to give it a thumbs up. If it's a predicate, give it a thumbs down and we'll put it in the red box, all right? So the first one is slugs. Slugs a subject or a predicate? Well, we know it's a subject because it's a person, an animal, a thing, okay? So it's what the sentence will be mostly about. So I'm going to put over here in my green box for subject, okay? What about the word and? That's really not either, is it? So I'm just going to put it way down here. What about crawl up the tree trunk? Is that a person, an animal, or a thing? Or could it describe a person, animal, or a thing, or tell what it's doing? That's right. It's a predicate. It can tell or describe what a person, animal, or thing are doing. So I'm going to put it over here inside this red box. Doesn't quite fit, does it? All right, and the last word is, or the last one is snails. Is snails a subject? Does it tell an animal, a person, a thing? Or is it telling what an animal, person, or thing could do? It's an animal, right? It's snails. All right, so we see now that we have two subjects. We have slugs and we have the word snails. That's two subjects. Okay, now I'm going to read you this part. Crawl up the tree trunk. That's one predicate. Now, I want to link my subjects together so that I can make just one subject, because this predicate is telling me about both of these subjects, okay? So I'm going to pull down slugs, and that's where this word and is going to come in handy. That's one of our sight words, right? And is a good linking word, so I'm going to put it right here after slugs, and then I'm going to pull down snails, okay? And now my subject is really two subjects linked together. It's slugs and snails. Read that. Slugs and snails. And now I can take my one predicate and put it down here on my predicate part. Okay, and my sentence says slugs and snails crawl up the tree trunk. Now that's a pretty good sentence, right? To make it perfect, I need to make sure that it starts with a capital letter, that's one of the big letters, and that it ends with a period. And that's so easy. A period is just a what? A dot. My sentence needs to end with a period at the end. And now I'm ready. Let's read our sentence. Slugs and snails crawl up the tree trunk. That's a really good sentence with two subjects linked together with our word and. All right, now let's look at this sentence. Here's a sentence right here. The ants build nests. That's a pretty good sentence, isn't it? It has a subject right here, the ants, okay? And it has a predicate. Build nests. The predicate tells what the ants do. So it's a good sentence, but I think that we probably could add even more details to it. I'm going to erase our lines to make it even better. Okay, so I'm going to take away my period and I want to add some details. Now to do that, I am going to draw a line right here. Okay. And I want to think about some places that my ants, oh goodness, I could build nests. Where could ants, oh my goodness. Where could my ants build nests? They could build nests on the ground. So now my sentence is even better because I've added more details. And now my sentence says the ants build nests on the ground. Where else could ants build nests? On the grass. The ants build nests on the grass. I could do another one, right? The ants build nests in the dirt. There's a period at the end on this one to make it even better. The ants build nests in the dirt. That's a really good sentence, isn't it? All right, now today I want you to think about what you learned about the life of a tree, and you're going to draw me a picture for one part of the life. Now it could be a picture that shows how the acorn became a tree. It could show the branch falling and turns into a log. You could draw about how the log becomes dirt, or how the new acorn grows in the dirt to a seedling, right? But what I want you to do is make sure that your illustration has a lot of really good details. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture of, the seedling, okay? So here's my seedling. Remember, it kind of looks like this. And I'm going to draw some dirt on the bottom, okay? And now I want to draw a word that goes with my picture. I want to label my picture, okay? To do that, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, like this, that's showing me that's what I want to label. And I'm going to try to sound out seedling, okay? Seedling, what's the first sound? S, that's S. I want to say seedling, I hear seed. Seedling, I hear those, and I hear G at the end, seedling. So I'm going to write a G at the end. Those are some sounds I hear in the right order that say seedling. That's the word I wanted to write, and that's what I wrote down. I don't want you to write the exact way to write it. I don't want you to ask Mama to teach you how to write the word. I want you to listen for the sounds in the word and write the sounds that you hear next to your picture that you draw. Okay, you want some kind of picture about the life of a tree. I do not want you to copy my word and write what I wrote. I want you to write something different.